So here we are on a special version of the Pause podcast. I have brought on 4 college students with me, and they are my nieces and nephews. And we're going to be talking about mental health in college and the way that each of them pauses throughout the day. So do you all mind just going around and introducing yourself?
I'm Jacob Walker. I'm at Fitchburg State University, the best school.
I'm Sam Boudreau, and I'm unemployed.
But Sam, you recently graduated.
I graduated from WPI also.
I'm Kavani, and I'm also unemployed, but I just finished a year at Siena College. Don't go there.
I'm Julia. I go to Leslie University, and I'm kind of employed right now, but just technically don't have hours.
Okay, great. So it is, if you're paying attention to the news or just in general, mental health on college campuses is, it's sort of a big issue. So I wanted to just ask your all personal experiences with that, and also if you have learned through, your first, your second, your whole college experience, any ways to sort of check in with yourself and get through it. So Sam, since you just graduated, do you want to start?
So just how we kind of got through college. I feel
Yeah.
like honestly at WPI, I can't speak to how other colleges work, but at our school we have a 4-term system instead of 2 semesters in a year. So classes move pretty quickly, and I think for the majority of the time it's just kind of pushing through burnout. A lot of the students are constantly under a state of stress, and it's only magnified in finals week. So I mean, I think a lot of people turn to drugs and alcohol, but I guess I would just say I use my phone a lot. I tried in the past year to read, go outside a little bit just to kind of put a pause on my day and just relieve my stress. But I think a lot of people at my school just kind of try to find distractions to the stress rather than getting at the root of it.
I think it's hard when you're in college because it's like you're looking through a pinhole. It's almost like that's all there is.
Yeah.
Period. And it's hard to see outside of that, and that maybe it's not as high pressure, high stakes
Right.
as you think in the moment.
Definitely.
Jake, Jake, you should also mention, you've been in Iraq too, so you've encountered high pressure situations beyond just college, and how have you navigated that?
I don't really know, to be honest. In college is not, my major is not that hard. It's criminal justice. It's not that hard. People say it's hard. It's not. But for other majors like nursing and stuff like that, it's very hard for them, and it can be taxing for them. And like Sam said, they can go to drugs and alcohol to have it's because of those stressors they go to that. And repeat the question again.
When you're finding yourself in a stressful situation where you feel like you can't find a space internally, or you're just the adrenaline is nonstop, do you have any methods you use to sort of pause or take a moment to yourself?
I do pause, and I try to block out everyone. I focus on the thing that I'm doing mostly. I don't really listen to. That's a bad way of saying it, but I don't. I just hyper focus on what I'm trying to do and what the goal is. Yeah.
That also could be considered the flow, when you're just in the
flow.
moment and nothing else really matters around you. You're sort of just focused. So when you were in Iraq, for instance, did you struggle with just feeling so stressed that it was overwhelming?
Yes, I did, but I try to get myself busy to other things, other goals I had in mind. There was a gym there, so we all went to the gym every day for 2 hours every day. So we tried to do that while also working and also just trying to stay not bored, really. I mean, in Iraq, we were on an Air Force base. We didn't really do much, but there was some high stress situations that we had to encounter. But that was always a threat. So we couldn't really focus on that until it actually happened.
Does college feel like a piece of cake stress-wise?
Yes, it does.
Comparatively?
It does feel like a piece of cake, honestly, to me. It doesn't get much easier, honestly. From what I'm experienced, I don't know. It's just I do my work and I just go on with my day.
Gratitude. That's great. Julia, how about you? You just completed your first year of college at Leslie. How's the experience been for you as far as stress and ways that you've found to pause?
I feel like on a college campus, especially during times like the winter where you can't get outside as much and you can't just like escape your dorm room, it can get very stressful. You can feel very trapped and just like stuck, repeating the same cycle. And I think the most important thing to do is just to have awareness for like how you're feeling and what you're doing, because everyone is different with like the way they deal with stress. And a lot of people think, they have to do things a certain way. Or they have to like, if you're like trying to complete a task or something, a lot of people get too stressed with like, oh, you're supposed to do it this way, like don't stop, don't take breaks. But it's so important to just like make sure you don't get burned out. And one thing I love to do is just like put my phone down and just like go for a walk somewhere. Like I just love doing that because I'm like, it's so disconnecting, but in a good way. Like I just feel so free and like away from everything.
So you don't have your phone at all with you when you're going for the walk?
No, but I don't go like walking far or anything like outside. Well, like I will go outside, but not like far because I don't want to go all over Boston without my phone. But yeah, I'll just take like a walk around like campus or something, like, or just around the halls if I have to. Just get out of my room or like get out of where I've been working.
Can I add something? I like your wording of being like boxed in, like because a lot of people feel that way in college. They feel like there's not a lot of people. Well, especially when they go to a new college or a different place, they have really not many friends, not many people they can talk to. So they just feel boxed in, and everything is against them. So they just stay in that world. And it definitely felt like that in Iraq, where we literally were in a box the entire time. But I actually had like my coworkers or friends around me, so that made it easier. But for college, you're not really with anyone, and really, if you're talking with your professors or your advisors, they don't really help. Like, not many professors are actually good at their job, I feel like.
I mean, I can definitely speak to that experience. I went to a college that did not have, I don't know, the atmosphere that I was looking for, I guess. I tried to make like a lot of friends there, but I ended up getting, I don't know, everybody who I seemed to come in contact with had views on things that I felt like were more like fundamental in who I want in a friend. And I felt like a lot of the people there just, I don't know, they seemed like they were there to like party and kind of like slack off. And I had a roommate, my first one dropped out because she was just so unmotivated and she didn't go to any of her classes and she was really depressed and stuff, which I get, but that like ended up impacting me because my roommate didn't want to go out and like do things. And then I was like, oh, like I don't have like a lot of other people here. So it kind of set me up. And then once you continuously get like hit with people not wanting to like, I don't know, people who you don't want to interact with that often, it becomes exhausting. And then I ended up shutting myself out and focusing exclusively on my work. And I did have some really good teachers who were dedicated and like really they cared about their students, but there was only so much they could do. And more times they were acting like better counselors than the ones that were offered at the school, because you got 10 free sessions, but they were so incredibly like, I don't know, unprepared for the serious mental health struggles people deal with. Sorry, that was long.
No, it's all relevant. And I forgot to even put into context, yeah, you're all within the college age and you're in this system of education. But if you sort of take the lens out a little bit, I think as a society, we're all sort of suffering some sort of disconnection and struggle, considering the pandemic that we all went through. And you all went through the pandemic in very formative years. You're the years that a lot of people say are like the best of your lives, and to have that sort of expectation on you, and then the reality of it is, we like can't talk to each other, or go out and party, or even just like hang out. I can't see how that wouldn't affect you in some way, just like across the board if you're a human. But especially I think if you're at that age range where there is this expectation, you're supposed to be doing a lot of awesome, fun, life-altering things.
Who wants to go? Dead air moment.
Steven is the type of person to say in a conversation, awkward.
No, I would never
Awkward
say.
silence.
No.
Nah, I think
Well, what else am I supposed to do? Stay
Nah, it's
silent
okay.
like you guys?
I had to sneeze.
Okay.
Okay. I've been sniffling.
I had to clear my throat. I'm sorry, I
what
didn't
was
want to
the
do it into the
question?
mic.
There was no question. Actually, part of the podcasting and the pause podcast are sometimes there are pauses.
I think because you need time to like think, because I think a lot of what you said like I agreed with, but I just didn't have like a response for it.
I was gonna say it was a controlled pause, you guys. That was a good one. Very professional.
Sorry, I ruined it.
Very controlled. I like it.
If this was like a talking crap podcast, that would be good.
You got to talk in the mic, Sam.
I was trying to talk off.
So before we wrap up this episode of the Pause podcast, is there anything else that anyone wants to add?
Oh, one thing that I did find helpful that I didn't think I was going to find helpful was this year I took a feeling stressed try nature class, which all the assignments were very stressful. But one thing that I got out of it was spending time outside and like kind of not really thinking about like other stuff, just thinking about like how the trees whistle in the wind and the stars twinkling in the sky, stuff like that really did help me like get out of that moment. And the more weeks that I spent more time outside, the better I felt. So that's my advice to anybody. Go outside. I know it's crazy, but it actually works sometimes.
I agree with that, and I want to add on to that. Like, we should really change how we teach college students and be more interactive with our learning and be out more in the field of like what we're trying to do. Like for criminal justice, we should be doing. There's a nice internship programs that we do, but they have like the end of the year. They should really do it earlier, like almost like half of the curriculum should be intern, because most of the stuff you're going to learn on the job, because you can't learn it in a classroom like most people and most professors think. Like they just really just teach us criminal law and theories. Like I don't know what any of these means without actually seeing them out for myself. So I think it should be more interactive with the learning.
Yeah, very interesting.
And more kids will be involved with it. They'll have more fun with it. They'll actually want to go to class instead of not just doing nothing and not going to it and being unmotivated.
Yeah, the busy work was that really hits you, I feel like. The writing just to write because your teacher wants to.
Yeah, writing like 20 pages for like an essay or something. I mean, I actually had this one teacher. She had a really good research project that I could pick the research, what I was going to do, and she just guided me through it. And I actually had a lot of fun with it. Like I didn't expect to have that much fun writing like a 15-page research paper, but it was pretty fun. And she also made, in another class, she had these like case studies where we had to pick apart like a case that had that we had to like develop like what the issue was, what the rule was, what the law like entailed or something, and what was wrong with the case, or like why did the justices dissent, or what was the other one? Dissent. There's three of them.
Yeah, we know what you mean.
Yeah, you know what I mean, though. Yeah. But I thought that was really informative, and I actually wanted to do more case studies, or more like, yeah, just caseloads and stuff. But yeah, she sadly left this year, so
The good teachers always leave.
they always do.
Is that a wrap, Auntie Ellen?
Well, I was just leaving pause if Sam or Julia wanted to add into anything.
Yeah, I feel like everything they've said has been very true. I just not much to add on my end, unless we had like 20 more minutes.
Well, yeah. How much more time do we have? We have time.
So we could talk about. Yeah.
Well, I just kind of wanted to get back into the nature thing because I also, for one of my classes, we had to do a kind of like nature journal. So we went outside, and then she would say like, oh, you know, like sketch something you saw, or like write down what you heard. And it was just like super cool because it like encouraged me to go outside. And I was like, wait, it's actually really cool. I really like this.
Yeah.
I actually have a bad experience with one of. Well,
Outside.
I shouldn't say I do, but my friend does. He had this really bad story. Like, it was just, so his professor, it was like this nature walk thing where he had to write like whatever you have to do on those nature walks. And the professor asked him to come out to the woods so they can do it. And it was just the professor and him. And it was the weirdest thing ever. Like, it looked like he was being kidnapped. Like, I don't know. It's just, they were just moved into the middle of the woods and just start talking. It was weird.
I'd start doing a police sketch of the teacher's face at that point.
Yeah, like some of it is bad, but being out in the nature is very helpful. Like, I go out for rucks or just walks with that heavy backpack, and I like it. It's a good exercise, and I'm out in the nature, so.
Yeah, I think just to add on to that, like getting like just some amount of sunlight within the first hour that you wake up is super important for your mental health. And I've literally felt it in the past week. Like, instead of just sitting in bed on my phone for an hour and then making breakfast, I'll just go outside and sit on a deck or take a walk around like my neighborhood, and I just feel like a little bit more positive. Like, obviously it won't solve all of the struggles you're going through internally, but it just literally raises like your dopamine levels or whatever's going on in your mind.
I think it kind of like, it definitely, when you do stuff like that, 'cause I just love doing stuff like that. Because like you said, it is very helpful. I feel like it gives you a different mindset to start off the day with. Like, I don't know, you just feel, I feel like you feel more open to things. I'm speaking from personal stuff, you know, I don't know what other people feel, but I just feel more open to things, and I feel more awake too. If I just go on my phone, I'm going to be so tired, but whenever I like go outside or like just make sure to like see the sunlight and stuff, I just feel like so much more awake and aware of everything, I think.
Definitely. Yeah, sunlight is big on like the circadian rhythm. Like, I feel like a lot of people our age have big issues with like falling asleep on time and just getting into a regular sleep schedule, and like that helps immensely. But yeah.
Something that helped me with the sleep and the paying attention is I actually got rid of a lot of my social media, more like of like the reels from Instagram or the TikTok, like all that. I just got rid of it for like a month, and I felt very like, I was in the early stages. I felt bored because I had nothing to do, but I got stuff to do. Like, I actually read, which I don't do often. I barely read, and I should do it more. But yeah, I felt more productive when I was off the social media stuff.
That's so real, because when I do go away, like on summers to work at like summer camp, I don't have a lot of time to be on my phone, but during that time, I'm spending so much of it in nature and like doing things and exercise. I think like that's why I enjoy summer camp so much, because I don't know, it always gave me the experience of like breaking away from my phone and spending time in nature that I think a lot of kids our age didn't get to experience kind of growing up. Like, it was pretty much the rest of the year I was on my iPod or phone and not going outside. Send your kids to summer camp.
The going outside and walking, I do that every morning, and it always makes a difference. I call it my morning constitutional. I did it this morning. I had to do it because I knew it puts my day in a different place. It's not like it's drastically better by any means, but if I don't do it, I feel the effect of it. And it's subtle, but I feel it for sure.
Yeah, and I think forming like healthy habits that you follow through with every single day is like super important. That's something that I struggle with a lot, but if you get into a good routine, like it can really put your mind in a better place and make you feel more productive in general, I think.
To add on to that, when I go to like the gym almost every day, but when I'm not going to the gym that day, I feel very off. Like I feel very not myself and like almost sick for not going to it. So I think it's good to have a routine doing something that you exercise with.
I was just about to say like almost the same thing. Like once you start doing something like that makes you feel good in the morning, that's like exercise, you're getting outside or sunlight, it's like you can't live without it. Like it feels so just like, ugh, it feels so bad. Like, I don't know, in the winter, like when you can't get outside as much or do stuff like that, I feel like that's when I start to notice like how nice it is to like just go outside and like do stuff or, you know, stuff like that.
And just to wrap this up, I like that Sam said it's a habit, it's a practice. Going to the gym every day, taking the walk. That is the secret of it, is make it a practice.
Yeah, I think, not to go off on too many tangents, but I think a lot of things are habits, like practicing empathy and even mindfulness. Like a lot of people think they're like hardwired skills, you have it or you don't. Like even like public speaking skills, like I feel like so many things can be practiced and improved upon if you just put your time and energy into it. But yeah.
I like to compare it to, remember when you learned how to read or learning how to ride a bike or anything, any sort of skill set that you have, you had to do it a lot. You got to embed it within your day. And that's the same for all the stuff that you all said, to create just like to feel well in the world, which is really, really hard. It's against you. You have to make extreme effort to feel well. So I think you're all doing a great job. Thank you all today for being on the Pause podcast. Fitchburg Wellness. Appreciate
Thank you
it.
for having us.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for having us.